Hey, this is Autumn. So this is Navi's killing garden when it comes to the strategies. One of the four strategies that I know of for Frostfire Mine. Navi's killing garden is actually a combination of the killing and gathering strategies. Technically, what it actually is a flexible hybrid of both of them. It is made by a player called Navigator up in 2940, and he uses it better than I do because it's his strategy. But I have done it like a lot of times, as you can see, because I've actually used Navi's Killing Garden on a previous video on this channel about 5 months ago, which is the best placing I've ever had with it, which is number one. But it is a strategy that involves attack, defense, and deployment capacity, and any other buffs you want to add, but those are the basic three. And Navi uses it normally to get around 5th place or higher in every Frostfire Mine that he does it in, but he's extremely good at Frostfire Mine, and I am average. But I am, decent enough to get usually top 10 placings if I'm paying attention, and top 20 if I'm not. He just also has a very strong city, so unfortunately, I just haven't spent as much money on the game as he has, and I have also not optimized my cities as much as he has. He is an extremely good player, and I would recommend that if you wanted to have a chat with him, he's up in FAM, he's an R4 in 2940. But yes, so this is basically his strategy, and what it allows is immense tactical flexibility. It allows you to basically it requires you to understand both the killing strategy and the gathering strategy, because in this strategy you do both. You kill when you can't gather, and you gather when you can't kill. There is a certain order to it, which I don't do very well. Again, like I said, this is a strategy that has the highest earning potential out of any of the strategies, but commensurately also has the highest execution needs, in that it is the hardest to pull off, but also gives you the highest number of points. Although ranking, once again, depends entirely on who is in your battlefield and what they are doing and how they're doing it. And you can see that reflected in the points at the end, where my ranking is actually lower than a previous video, the Gathering Guide, and yet somehow actually scored more points. So in this one, because this is in a lower bracket, this is in a younger state than the other two, I am a little bit more aggressive, and I look for level 3 mines rather than level 2 mines. In this particular bracket, my city is decently high. In the upper brackets, my city was a little bit lower, mainly because, and this is something I'll talk about in a future video, probably sometime next week. Sometime next week when I record it. But it is a video. It is. If you are in an alliance that has low activity, you are going to have your growth delayed. And roughly was this a race, but anyway, I'm going off topic, so let's talk about Frostfire Mine. So, yeah, just looking in the first couple of minutes for the best places to put the city, because yes, if you have the opportunity to look for a good number of level 3 mines and lots of patrols, then go for it. So I found this lovely place. It's got 5 patrols in it, which means that's a lot of patrols for me to get to level 3. And in this particular strategy, you want to get to level 3 as fast as possible, because the 1 minute trick, obviously, is what you want to do. And I only have 5 teleporters, so I can't really afford to jump around like crazy, like I did in both the gathering and killing strategies. So I will need to find a good place that gives me a lot of the opportunities I need, which is level 3 mines and patrols. So, alright, 8 seconds, 7 seconds start. There's also a good place actually, as a backup position. And I jump in, and immediately 3 people join me, or rather 2 people and then someone else. So quickly grab as many patrols as I can. And so, once again, like with any of these strategies, you want to be around less people if possible, and clear that pop-up for the looting. And even though I'm buffed, and even though I'm fairly strong, people will still clear, because I don't have an even... I focused all of my power into my top march gear set, because I'm not made of money. And that means that anything I send that isn't on my top march is going to quite possibly break to somebody else's top march, even if they do seem less powerful. That being said, there's a certain amount of intimidation factor, and this is part of the reason I wear a city skin into Frostfire Mine, in that some people just won't attack you if you have a really... if you look like a whale. On the other hand, some people will attack you if you look like a whale, so there is also a 50% chance there. A lot of this game is like soft intimidation, and just I guess taking advantage of soft biases. But I do try to take as many level 3 mines as possible, because level 3 mines obviously give you the most resources per second. You will have seen in the Gathering Guide that level 2 mines give you about 16 to 19 orc outcome per second. Level 3 mines give you 27 on its base form without adding any extra sort of gathering skill type things. On gathering skill, level 2 mines go up to 27 per second, and level 3 mines go up to 53, which is quite a big jump. But basically, I see here that I'm stuck on level 1 skill. You know, everybody in this area is killing all the patrols, because of course they will. They're all very serious players. Then I jump to a further away thing. So there's the trick here. So when you're on Frostfire Mine, if you zoom out, you get to see slightly more of the battlefield at any one time. And that allows you to scan for patrols easier, scan for mines easier, all that kind of stuff. And what I'm doing here, even you can see that I've got 0 queues around being used, is because I'm trying to find a good location. And so, properly speaking, to get as much points as possible, you want to make sure that all your queues are busy. So call a recall there, because I called a patrol to go kill in about 2 minutes away by travel time, which is far too long a travel time, so we called that immediately. And ooh, unoccupied level 3 mine. Go for it. But yes, so that's a skill that you learn with the all killing strategy, which is that when to take fights and when it's not worth it. So recall immediately as soon as it's not worth it, basically. So the trick here is to get 4 mines gathering, as many of them as level 3 as possible, and then go ahead and use 2 queues to kill as many patrols as possible to get you up in the skill level. This is still a lot slower than I would have hoped. Navi is generally a lot better at getting to level 3 skill before he starts gathering. I am not. So 2 queues, preferably you want them to be reasonably close so that the travel time is minimized. And in this case, he's gonna get there before I do. Oh, no, I did. That March skin is deceptively... its range is deceptively far. So I might have to switch to it being that skin all the time, because then it might throw people off a little bit. That's me recalling for the 1 minute trick and resending, looting. I probably could have pulled out a Q here to get the occupied mine guard one, but I was more focused on getting up to level 5 skill, or level 5 skill, because I'm at level 3 already. So I probably should have actually gone for the loot in the further away mine, because that's actually closer to a player. You see the lines there. And then just spamming march recalls at the expense of my gems, but again, I'm not really going to be using gems because I normally only use gems with Lucky Wheel. Today is the Lucky Wheel. So just be tomorrow, and I won't be using it for SVS because I won't be playing during SVS. Because I'm quitting the game. So yes. And then basically you just swap around the number of queues that you gather on, assuming you can find level 3 queues, and leave 1 queue at all times to gather, to kill patrols, and just get that score. Basically, if you are further behind, you leave more queue, or you can't get any level 3 mines, you get more queues to kill. And if you can, then you keep them on level 3 mines. And here the veins are coming out, so recall everything. Hope for a good number of veins. You can also teleport to a further away area to get more veins, but in this case, I've already faced a number of people who are very competitive and who want to do well in FFM, and this is a really good position. So I sit my ass in the exact same place and just go gathering. Unfortunately, I don't have level 4 skill during this. Ideally, I would have. And with level 4, obviously, you will get additional points when you're gathering in veins. So that would have been really helpful, but I wasn't at level 4, and therefore. Again, this is where the buffs come in handy, and I am already relatively strong. So I think I got a little bit fortunate in that that's my second best march. So they just bounced off. Same thing, I rushed that one even though there was a closer one because I wanted to get the level 5 skills sooner rather than later. And yeah, so if you have, and I think of course is that because everybody's gathering in veins, there are more patrols out at this time, so you can also use the vein time if you can't get veins to kill patrols. And still send troops back into the mines for the gathering trick. Sorry, for the 1 minute trick. And then off to the veins again. So the last strategy, which I will introduce in its own video, is called Too Many Whales. And fundamentally, it is the same strategies as either the all killing, the all gathering, or the hybrid strategy. But the difference is that instead of the 1 minute trick of going in and out of a mine, you bounce off a whale. But basically, you want to learn this strategy, the killing strategy, or the gathering strategy because it's still the same thing. And everything else, every other skill in Frostfire Mine all basically benefits from these kinds of strategies. The other skills just give you more ability to recover heroes, so you can do it faster, you can sort of attack faster. But for the most part, ideally you actually want to stay out of the way instead of fighting people in Frostfire Mine, because going city to city, unless you are the biggest whale of all time or just the biggest whale in that battlefield, is not going to go so well for you. And generally, if you're looking at these kinds of guides, you're not that kind of whale, so do whatever works for you. I'm not going to push. So I actually have a player over there who is actually, I think, slightly stronger than me, but he backs away every single time I get close. Again, quite possibly because of the skin factor, or just because he doesn't really want to fight. Which is lovely. I appreciate it. And again, if you teleport, then all your troops come home. So I use it to get closer to a mine. Get the patrol arm here. And back out. So one thing about how the heroes are chosen for your squads, they are always chosen in order of how strong each of those heroes are, i.e. based on the hero gear that is on them at the time, their promotion and their levels. So what you can do is sort of tweak that a little bit to pick the right heroes and put certain gears on that, and therefore your default will be much faster to pick. So there's a lot of gear recommendation strategies, but generally what I do is just make sure everybody has gear, and then with quick equip, go in the order of what I quick equip, of what the heroes I want are. You actually want to keep your Gina or your Lumark march as the march that you use to go and kill patrols, because the right hand side skills actually boost march speed, and that actually still applies in Frostfire Mine. But of course, it's better to just have heroes than not have heroes, so let's do that. As you can see, I burned a lot of march acceleration for that and didn't get it. So, same problems as the killing strategy. It gets expensive really fast. I'm getting about 20 per second, so I could probably have waited a little longer before recalling that. 20 per second is just under 1200, but I thought the amount of time it would take for me to recall and then resend would give me the 5,000 point boost there. I don't think it actually did for this one. And as per the killing strategy, You want to go for patrols that are reasonably closer to you than further away, although the further away ones will be less contested. Oh, there was one even closer. Because, again, it gives you point score, and, 1,500 points every patrol. You want them to be as close as possible because that gives you more chance to score 1,500 points. So one thing you can do, and one thing I didn't do very well in this Frostfire Mine, because it's late, I'm sleepy, but I just didn't do very well at it, is to find as many backup spots as you can. So if you see that first spot with sort of 6 patrols was great, 5 patrols was great, but I should have looked for backups, and the moment I saw 2 other people port in near me, bounced to the backup immediately. You are most likely going to have more recalls than march acceleration, because you can only use 1 recall at a time, and you can spam march acceleration. So use your recalls liberally, unless you are in a place where you recall all the time outside of the map. You're always going to have more recalls than march acceleration, unless you don't buy any, I suppose, as well. Veins are coming out again, so one more 1 minute trick, and then pop into the veins. Again, that was a little early that I popped that skill. And if you can't gather veins, go kill patrols. And as for all strategies, if there is an empty queue, you're not earning points. So go use all the kill queues as much as you can. This strategy, if it's done well, gets around 450,000 points or higher without Kathy. This wasn't done very well, so I get about 410,000. With Kathy, of course, it's a lot higher than that. Especially if you can get up to the level 4 skill, which gives you 500 points a minute, which is what balloons all of the point scores now by quite a lot. A level 1 skill for, a level 1 fourth skill for Kathy will give you around 500 times 30, 13,000-ish points. But if you can get a lot more than that, then it's just a lot higher. So that's just the thing to aim for if you want to do well in Frostfire Mine. Don't even need Smelter to rank well. Unfortunately, it does mean that it sort of eliminates skill a little bit, although you do need some skill. And once everybody who cares about it has Kathy 4th skill, which is going to be a bit later in this timeline, then skill will once again come into play. So I'm not even bothering looking at smelter because I don't have any marked acceleration left at all. Activity-wise, I would consider this to be somewhere in between the killing and gathering strategy guides. In killing, it's absolutely non-stop action. In gathering, it's very low action comparatively. Whereas in the hybrid, it really depends on what you're doing. If you're killing a lot, then it's very active. If you're gathering a lot, then it's relatively slow. Although because you're always killing and you're always gathering, it's somewhere in the middle. Checking the strength of that, seeing whether I can take the level 3 mines. So I recall long before the next one. And because he's gathering a lot of mines at once, my top troops should be able to kill. But also I'm getting ready for a pop of the level 3 skill. Sorry, a pop of the level 5 skill. Should have used my top marks there, so I'm going to bounce. Did bounce. So I'll just avoid it. And again, if I can't gather mines, then I'll kill. And yes, your looting queue is also a separate queue, so once again, you want to try to keep that busy. Somehow completely overlooked that loot there, which I could have used or done. And then yeah, just basically repeat until
you have until the end of the battlefield. And I was actually looking for the where the level 3 mine spawned from there, but never found it. So, more cues to kill with. Honestly, there's not much to talk about for this one, because it is just a combination of the other two guides, which I would recommend that you watch to kind of understand them both. But yes, the overall point earned for this strategy is just higher. As you can see, 400,000 compared to the previous ones, 315 and 388. And yeah, some Cathy score there, some Smelter score. They just had more level 3 mines. They looted less than I did. They killed slightly less than I did, and they did do very well on the 1 minute trick. That's the top one there. Level 2 placement, Cathy skill. They did, I think, slightly better on killing patrols. And yeah, that's about it. This wasn't a particularly well executed one. I could very well have won, or at least gotten a higher placement. But I just didn't kill enough, I just didn't do anything else. So yeah, level 9. And that's that. Instructions will go at the end as usual, so feel free to skip to the end and just read through that.